Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. I'm sending this with contribution. You made videos for both my sister and I recently. My sister's was Borderline Monsters Part 15, me. Mine was when the covert hides behind the overt narcissist. They were both very insightful and helped us a lot. Thank you. I'd like to share some of the crazy we dealt with in the house with our mother and enabler father. After reading the vitriolic letters and texts my mother sent to my sister and the letter and text she sent to me, I've come to realize that the big blowout between her and my sister over Christmas was staged. She had been planning this for a very long time. Everything this woman does and says is planned. I used to hear her talking to herself in the bathroom in the morning. Anytime I heard this, someone was sure to get it that day. Usually me. My mother used to do that. She used to ramp herself up, start talking, and then come out like a stark raving lunatic. She talks to herself all the time. She has full-blown conversations with other people who aren't there. She gets so lost in her own nasty internal dialogue, she uses touch with reality. Yeah, my mother does that. She has full-on arguments with nobody. I mean, I'm somebody who talks to myself. I get caught doing it a lot, but not to that level. She loses her shit if the conversation doesn't go the way she planned, if she planned it earlier. She looks like Data from Star Trek malfunctioning. Her eyes go all blinky and she stutters and sniffs and says no, not even knowing what she's disagreeing with. She once had a huge tantrum over something my sister said about liking or not liking some type of soap. My mother stormed off saying I didn't say that over and over. You can imagine the head fuck for the rest of us. This was one of her Christmas tantrums, if I remember correctly. There is no way you can reason with a woman who is crying over something you said because she didn't say it. What the fuck? My sister ended up apologizing to her to keep the peace. I don't even know what she apologized for or how she got the big baby to stop the tantrum. Looking at it now, she always tried to make my sister into herself, to be like her in every way. She let it go so far as to confuse the reality that my sister was her own person, not an extension of her. So when my sister says she doesn't like the soap, my mother can't compute that. Mother didn't say that, therefore my sister cannot say it. It's so weird, even after all these years of this behavior being our normal. I mean, no, that's just exactly it. I mean, that's basically narcissism right there. You're not allowed to have an opinion of your own. You're not allowed to have any individuality of your own. Now, your mother took such a harsh reaction to anything, any disagreement about anything. She couldn't handle it. I mean, but that's narcissism 101. You're not allowed, and your mother was to the extreme on that. I think her most favorite thing ever is being sick. As far back as I can remember, all she does is complain about some ailment or another. It's all she talks about. You literally cannot have a conversation with her. It's exhausting for a kid. I told her I have a headache. She also had a terrible headache, and she thinks she has a brain tumor. And this is something I dealt with since 10 years old. My mother's been dying of cancer since I was 10. I'm going to be 45 in like 16 days, 17 days. My mother has been dying for the better part of 36 years. Remember, phone call from narcissistic mother, I will be dead soon. That was in 2010. We're going into 2018. I've been listening to this shit since I was 10. And so have all you. She once freaked out over a dead arm because she was fucking leaning on it too long watching TV. I couldn't believe a grown-ass woman her age had never experienced a dead arm before. But no, she was having a heart attack, a stroke. Oh, the panic. And she expected me to go along with her, the stupid fucking idiot. I had to pretend like this was the most I had to pretend like this wasn't the most retarded thing I'd ever seen and try to explain to her that she was leaning on her arm and the feeling will come back in a minute. She knew, I guess. It was about the drama. She wanted me to get annoyed at her so she could victimize herself, her other favorite pastime. If she got a pain in her back, she would go to the chemist and buy every over-the-counter medicine available for arthritis. If she got a headache, she would do the same and buy everything she could to find for a migraine. The house is full of medicine that she never uses. The actual real health problems she has, she goes out of her way to exasperate them. She eats all the wrong things, buys the wrong medicine, won't take advice, won't try anything that might help her. She did that to us as kids too. I suffered with chronic severe migraine, and she took my sister to a specialized migraine clinic, not me. I was in constant pain for years and years, and she didn't give a shit. I once caught her talking to herself while reorganizing all her medicine that was on the counter. I think she forgot I was in the room. She goes into these trances where she stands in one spot for ages, staring into space, mumbling to herself, and straightening out something on the table or the counter. She mumbled to herself while moving some pills. Oh, that one works. I'll throw that out. Yeah, that is exactly how it is with my mother. Full-on conversations in her head, out loud to nobody. To nobody. She's talking to somebody, but she's having a conversation. Sometimes when she's in one of these trances, she would turn to me and finish a sentence that she started in her head. Oh my God. Right in the middle. Like my mother is famous for right in the middle of like half a sentence, at the end of a sentence, and be screaming at you, not even understanding. I wouldn't have a clue what she was talking about. Or worse, she would turn to me and accuse me of sighing at her or tutting her or giving out under her breath because she was making noise. I mean, these are all, you sure we didn't have the same mother? Obviously, she would make noise to annoy me so she could do this. My mother made the most horrendous grunting and sniffling, and she's really a disgusting person to be around, hacking and spitting in sinks and it's all control. It's all control. It's all to be oppressively in your face and to get you to say something about it so then they can turn around and cause a fight and be the victim and make you the monster. She did it to me all the time. I couldn't go anywhere in the house without her following me. Oh my God. Where are you going? What are you doing? What do you need that for? We all went. If I sat down to watch TV, she would come and stand in the room with the door open, waiting for me to look at her wrong or give her something she could grab to victimize herself and start a fight when my dad was in the next room. She would talk over the TV stand in the way, start poking the fire or banging something, waiting for me to react. When I didn't, she would turn and shout at me anyway. She would accuse me of looking at her funny or sighing. My mother would do all this, the noises, the getting in your way, don't react, and then finally when she sees you're not going to react, what did my mother do? She comes charging at you and starts swinging, saying, you think you can fucking ignore me, you fuck? I'll do what I want to you. Oh, yeah. It would get like that, where they actually get so mad that you're not reacting to them, they'll tell you they're abusing you. They'll out now tell you they're abusing you as they're doing it. Nice gaslight. People think I don't remember. You know, these little breaks in videos are good because it helps me recharge as well and helps me, remember other stuff. When I didn't, she would turn and shout at me anyway, accusing me of looking at her funny or sighing. I couldn't get a minute's peace in that house with her. I was walking on eggshells 24/7. I learned to look as blank in the face as possible and to show no emotion at all, no matter how I was feeling. That's where resting bitch face comes from. Why do you never smile? Why are you never happy? You should smile more. Because when you're living your life on trial and walking on eggshells, and your mind is literally, your mind at all times feels like a stretched out rubber band to the point where it's going to snap at all times. That's always your life. Like this level of tension. And that level of tension makes you take that and you internalize all that fucking tension. You internalize all that tension. All that tension, you internalize it into being a blank slate. This quiet tension that never goes away. Resting bitch face. She loved playing my sister and I against each other, and I didn't see the full extent of it until this year. When my sister and I started exchanging stories about our past, it was eye-opening. We lived very separate lives under the same roof. She told me that mother used to tell her that I didn't want her hanging around me. I did it in a way that made me the bad guy. I was the bully, the scapegoat, and my caring mother was trying to spare my poor sister's feelings. She tore my sister down this way, made her feel like nobody loved her or wanted her around. But her sweet, caring mother was there for her. Mother was reenacting her own past with her sisters by manipulating me and my sisters against each other. In recent years, I thought that my sister didn't like me or want me around anymore, and she thought the same about me. Mother was orchestrating it all along. Despite this horrible woman's handiwork, my sister and I remain close, and we now have a better understanding of each other, too. I reckon the bitch thought she had damaged the relationship between my sister and I sufficiently before moving on to the next big thing on her agenda, her jealousy of my sister's kids. She was forced to make her final move after my sister's daughter was born. The big showdown, the drama my sister wrote you about. She knew that my sister would have a newborn and a toddler at Christmas. She realized she would want to stay at home with her babies. I also had tried to tell her that I wanted to skip all the traveling and overnights at Christmas that year, and she was having none of it, literally just shaking her head saying, "No, you have to visit your family at Christmas. No, you can't do that," in a really calm voice while smiling at me. Oh, the smiling. When they smile at you and tell you what you have to do. Basically, when they smile at you and they're telling you, you don't have any control over your life. You're going to do exactly what I tell you to do, or I'm going to make your life miserable. And I'm going to smile at you just to let you know for the final rub-in. Because I know how much it incenses you. I know how much it hurts you. I know how damaging it is to not have control over your own life. Right? Right? Fuck you. She had all the ammunition she needed to cause chaos and victimize herself, and that's exactly what she did. I think this blowout was her plan B. There has been no attempt on their part to reconcile. It has just been more bullying and gaslighting. I think they are afraid of being exposed now because they've been called out on their behavior and they're being kept away from the kids. This isn't the first time they've been called out. Apart from my constant fighting against my mother's bullying as a kid, someone else tried to expose her years ago. I never found out who it was. One day when I was around 12 years old, I came home from school and my mother told me to go in the kitchen and sit down. Something serious was happening. She came in, stood over me, got right in my face and said, "I need your undivided attention. This is very serious." This almost sounds like when my mother was trying to get me to lie to Dyfus. I was terrified. I thought someone had died. I was already sick with anxiety before she even got to the point. She told me that somebody had made allegations of abuse against her and or my dad, and she wanted to ask me some questions. She asked me if my dad or anyone else had touched me inappropriately or made any sexual passes at me. All I could say was no, I wasn't sexually abused. Then she started going through her list of people who she thought made the allegations, one of them being her estranged sister, another doctor. I felt responsible she was dumping this on me. Looking back at it now, knowing about her narcissism and realizing that she was abusive and I wasn't the problem, I see what she was doing. She was caught. Someone was calling her out. The best thing she could do was go straight to me and my sister and ask the wrong questions to get the right answer, to get us on her side and saying, no, we were not abused. She didn't ask me if I thought she was an abusive, evil cunt, but she knew that's what it was about. She gaslighted us into her narrative, and that's what my mother did. My mother was basically, my mother basically told me if they take you away, you're gonna go to Boys Town with big boys who are going to put their dicks in your ass. So, I was just flat out. I used to just be flat out threatened with rape to be kept quiet. That was always, to keep Matthew, Ollie in check. Send them off to Boys Town where, they're going to... Well, I didn't have to go to Boys Town. I just had to wait for you to hire a babysitter, didn't I? Moron. I have no idea who may have made those allegations. I was often sick as a kid, and many times a doctor was called to the house. It was mostly cough, bronchial infection, shit like that. And the reason they got involved wasn't because of me, it was because my brother kept getting sick and injured badly. Kept going to the hospital. 3rd-degree iron burns, broken clavicles, drinking kerosene. All before he was like 18 months. I would get so bad coughing that I couldn't catch my breath, and they would call a doctor. One time, our regular guy wasn't available, and a new female doctor came out. When my mother left the room, she asked me questions like, are you worried about something? Are you stressed? Are you being bullied? Is everything okay at home? It was this doctor. It was this doctor who made the complaint, I'm telling you. Just like it was the doctors who made the complaint against my parents. Of course, I answered no to everything, and I didn't even realize that my mother was a bully at that point. I was just a bad kid. The doctor then asked my mother the same questions out in the hallway. I could hear them. She said that I seemed to be suffering from anxiety, that was the last I saw of that doctor. My mother lost her shit and threw her out of the house. She came back into me giving about it. How dare she say that to me? How dare she say my child's anxious? She's a quack. You're clearly physically ill. That's not anxiety. She effectively jumped straight into gaslight me out of any notions the doctor may have put in my head. So that's one of the people my mother had on her list of possible allegation makers. I think she was right. Come to think of it, even the regular doctor seemed to be aware of my anxiety. Anytime he called out to me when I was sick as a kid, he gave what looked like the Xanax pills I now take for anxiety. He called it a tranquilizer to help me sleep. Yeah, they put you on Xannies early. My sister and I are doing our best to ignore both our parents now. The narrative is that my sister and I are terrible and that we have wronged them. My mother even compared herself to Mother Teresa in a recent text. I shit you not. She writes these texts out on paper first and then sends them with slight differences to my sister and I. She's like a little kid doing schoolwork. Same with the letters. There's whole paragraphs. The same. And there you go. I mean, is there anything more calculating than writing it out first? I mean, this just goes to show you. Your mother's not sick. She's calculatingly evil. Here's the last text I got from my mother. No human being deserves the level of contempt you have for us. To estrange your parents and to put pressure on one to exclude the other, and not seeing us worthy of the courtesy of an answer to our text, and not telling us why is beyond reasoning for us. Never mind engaging. You see no wrong. I don't hassle you. We just get nostalgic at Christmas. There are two sides to every story. Yeah, and both your sides suck, bitch. Tell your story walking. You have to take some responsibility for your own life and actions. We're not taking any more of this. We're too nice, if anything. Oh, we're just too good. Again, it just comes down to, again, with another narcissist, comes down to, we just loved you too much. That was our only fault, was loving you too much. Not being tough enough on you. Oh. Like I said, tell your story, walking cunt. I look like Mother Teresa now compared to you and your sister's unreasonable actions. All I can say is, oh my God, what is really going on here? Oh my, and that's what we're all saying. But we know. Mother Teresa to Mother Teresa. I don't know if Mother Teresa had state services ever called on her. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? There's some batshit projection. I have to take responsibility for my own life and actions. I could scream through a megaphone outside their house every day for the next year and the bitch would still claim ignorance as to what's going on. Yet, she outright admits to abusing me while also saying that emotional abuse is subjective, inconsequential. Everybody does it, and basically I have no evidence. Jesus Christ, what is she, Hillary Clinton? Sounds like a Clinton defense to me. The past doesn't matter anyway. Wow, Jesus. Just like Hillary and the Democrats. My dad says this shit too. He just texted me today after months of nothing, asking if he can please come visit me. No. He sent the same message to my sister. It's too risky, I think. No shit. Part of me wants to think he's finally feeling it. He's not. He's not. He's on another agenda with a plan in his pocket. Living with the psycho, having no one else to torment, maybe he'll come around and be there for us, his daughters. He won't. He won't. Another part of me remembers how he gaslighted and threatened my sister when she told him that mother abused her. He is mentally ill and needs help. Let me ask you something. Does he know when mother had the state called on her that she basically asked if he was sexually abusing you or your sister? I wonder. I wonder how big of a fucking pantsless cuck he really is. I'm not sure I should engage him at all, even just to say no. Anyway, I'll have some of my mother's crazy for another time. Thanks for reading. Take care. Anonymous. No, do not engage him. Do not engage him at all. He has not changed. He has no reason to change. He just is looking for a new supply, looking to get some of the attention off of him. He made his bed with this bitch. Let him die in it. Let him die in it. I mean, your mother is a real piece of work here. A real piece of work. And what this video proves, once again, is just the ultimate calculation of the narcissist. Your father's coming to you with a plan. The narcissist always comes at you with a plan. What your father's doing here is no different, because they are calculating and they put this shit out years ahead of time. They start this shit years ahead of time. And the plans can take many different routes. That's why they're so dangerous. But understand, the narcissist always has a plan. Always. So, thank you so much for your contribution and your story. I really appreciate it. I hope this helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video just like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or you just want to make that contribution to the channel to keep it going and keep it expanding, because this channel is sponsored primarily 100% by contributions from all of you. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more of it, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click that subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.